Hey Future Pros! Today I'll be teaching you guys the crisscross smokes on cash. This is a two-man execute, so make sure you and a buddy both buy smokes. This wall of smoke will allow you to take mid in a safer manner. You both have to line up with the center of this doorway. Position yourself so you and your buddy are aiming at the opposite side of this doorway. This is great for taking vent control or just securing close mid for a later strat.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the ESL Pro League. We've just had a fabulous first series. It was explosive, it was exciting, but now we get into the nitty-gritty. It is going to, of course, be G2 going up against Kinguin, and I'm joined by Hugo. Now, Hugo, Kinguin, they had a good start to the Pro League. It looked like they'd actually come in here at full force. They were working their way through. Miku was popping off as always, and then things started to go wrong.
Yeah, they started to die down since then. They're currently sitting at 13th place in the scoreboard on the standings. Only above, oh, who was it again? Oh yeah, G2, which is perfect, right? We've got the bottom two teams facing up against each other. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean these two teams are gonna have a bad match of CS. Again, G2 individually have some great stars on it, as well as Team Kinguin do. That's as you said with Miku, as he always does pop off. But realistically, this is a hard one to predict, right? Because we look at G2, we would go off of the roster without seeing these teams play. G2 have a way bigger advantage, right? They're better players, they have some serious talent behind this roster, but frankly, looking at their results in this league so far, they've been doing absolutely nothing.
It's true, and that's the thing. Obviously, Kinguin as well, they were one of the teams that made their way, obviously, through relegation, and also, before that, they were qualifying in Premier, also Mountain Dew League. That's the thing, and a lot of these teams that have made their way through there really have to fight for their spots. And guys, whilst we're not live, there's also stuff going on in Mountain Dew League, so you guys can check that out. You can witness all the stuff that's going over there. Obviously, the teams that are trying to make their way into Pro League for the next season. So go and keep your eyes on the stars that might be rising their way into Pro League. There is some exciting stuff, obviously, going on over there. Now, Hugo, back in the meantime, as we're situated here, Kinguin, the team that fight for their way through relegation, they were one of these teams that was kind of the underdog, the massive underdog overall. Sure, they've had players that have made it to majors, they've had players that have been there for so long. I mean, Miku individually as well is the only Polish player that Virtus.pro have ever said, if we need to make a lineup change, it would only be him we bring in, the only player they want to play with. So it's going to be interesting to see how much that culminates and comes together as we work our way into map 1, guys. It will be kicking off. Obviously, it's going to be Kinguin versus G2. Let's see how this one's going to go. The French super team up against the second best Polish team.
I want to know your prediction before we go into the game.
I think Kinguin are actually going to pick this one up.
What, 2-0?
Yeah, I think Kinguin will shut this down.
I'm going to go ballsy. I'm going to go GT can pick up the second map, but I think the first This has got to be Kinguin's right now, just based off the map pick. Cash, well, obviously Cash is usually good for French teams. We saw the old MVO and old G2 having good success on this map. That hasn't continued throughout this lineup, or in fact, any map hasn't continued throughout this lineup for G2. Having their own issues, but let's see if they can, well, they can bring things back and show that they are worth this spot, because right now, they're definitely not proving to be. Let's have a look. Fast in towards A. It Shocks. Nice jump boost there, running across. Going to get spotted, but no kill coming out just yet. And Team Kinguin just holding back while a default is established from G2. They're not committing anyway just yet, just playing things slow because there's no real need to get aggressive for the time being. They will finally culminate over towards this A site as the bomb is brought out as well. And Apex is going to have all these nades as well just to set up wherever he pleases. Outside of Squeaky he goes, so could either throw them off up against the wall or he could throw them out the Squeaky door. He will opt for the latter. And Kinguin, they haven't read this one yet. They haven't got any aggression at all and they will just be playing a full retake setup.
Oh. MBK trying to kick things off, is aware of Furlan's position, is just going for these deagle taps. MBK, he is a natural born killer as he kicks things off. Fantastic opening frag. They've secured the bomb site as well. No one else is playing close by. It's an easy site to retake, a lot easier than B. That's why they're situated so heavily over there. But MBK still trying to do more damage with this. Deagle just going for these fabulous shots, but unable to connect them until Sparrow kicks things off. Will come in with the opening frag, now trying to claw their way back into this round. They execute him, hungry for more as well. The repositioning coming into effect, but they're not quite sure where these T's are. And look at Shoxy's position, so smart, playing behind the smoke, waiting for the right moment to strike. Miku does damage, Shoxy pops out, isn't aware of the angle. Spiro playing up close and personal, takes him down the close range combat body as well, executed there. It was a good opener for G2, but unfortunately they couldn't seal the deal. Miku with a last second defuse coming through, and they get the opener.
Yeah, Kinguin, great retake there. That's the thing, you so commonly see 5-on-5 retakes work. Frankly, it's very, very hard. Well, that was a 4v5. Very, very hard to hold down that A site, especially on pistol rounds up against USPs running back on in, which is surprising considering the fact that this is a close range site, right? Glocks are going to prevail most engagements, you'd like to think, but never to be the case. We do have the force up coming from G2, though. Some Tech 9s, a Deagle going to be out on MBK once again, maybe looking to get that opener towards the car, but it's unlikely Kinguin will play more of a retake style. They want to deny bomb plants here, and the fact of the matter is they've brought up a lot of SMGs, so expecting to play some close proximity angles here. Sparrow's posted up over towards this Checker's room and a fast burst into middle there. Flashbang going to allow Shoxy to peek up, and he will be killed, or he will get the kill onto Rallen at least, but no trade coming out yet. Sparrow dropped as well, and Mal, he's alone towards the back of the site, but not for long.
These kills going all over the place right now as they dominate their way through, leaving just Miku and Furlan to try and defend things. Bomb will be planted off the back of Kenny S, though. A good round so far for G2, and it has forced the hand of Kinguin. Smart play, just back off and save. Great way to try and, work your way back into the game, though, for G2. Obviously, this is the thing now as well. Rallen, Sparrow, and Mouse, they're going to have no money as they come into this next round. It's going to rely so heavily on Miku and Furlan to do all of the work if they want to try and pick a round up.
If they want to force as well, it's not a lot of options behind them, considering they'll only have $1,400 on all of these players. I guess you could drop over a couple of UMPs, which are only at $1,200, and then buy up around those with plenty of utility. That's the only thing I see possible here. Maybe one pistol, 2 UMPs, and then obviously this saved rifle and this saved UMP alongside that. That's like the best possible buy here for Kinguin, unless we see some shotguns or something in the mix as well. So let's have a look. Let's see what they invest in on. What if they even save these guns? And frankly, it doesn't look likely. As you can see, Furlan's going to be overrun. That should just stop any chance of a reforce here. But actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they went for it just for the sake of it. Yeah, they will. Again, it's going to be the double eco regardless, so they can afford to go for these kind of buys. But G2, 1-1, going to equalise things up, keep on a good T-side economy. And Kinguin just pistols, aside from that one save rifle from Mihu.
Repositioning once again, obviously, is just going to be that in for Miku. Now, it's so vital that he does damage into this. One player situated towards that bomb site, Sparrow. He's going to be the one trying to ward them off. They've invested quite heavily as well. He's the only one that's actually gone just for the Deagles. He wants to try and get that AWP out into the preceding rounds. Waiting for the push to come through, though. G2 taking that mid control, smart. Just take your time. They're not going to run headstrong into any potential stacks like the one going on at the bomb site.
They're actually reading this right for the time being. Set up towards B. And this push up towards the site is going to be perfect. Plenty of utility can clear out all these close angles. So well done. Only one player left alive. And Sparrow, he's going to have to hold this off with some phenomenal 1Ds. Looking in for it. Flash goes through. He should eventually peak, but he actually gets overrun. Chased on the left side. Not prepared for it at all. His body gets the opener. Kenny will follow up to deny any retake back in through the heaven area. And now 1 by 1, Kinguin are dropping to the floor with no damage done yet. Kenny's a bit tagged, but it's really nothing to be proud of as they go in once again for the save. But this time, look at the positions of them. They're so close to G2. I will expect to chase here from the T side.
Yep. Yeah, it's got to be on the cards. Potentially them going for the aggressive plays, just waiting it out. as they do just hold their angles. If this save goes through as well, it's more important that Miku actually holds onto that M4 than anything. The other two players with armor still would be effective. Shox, he's going to take the aggressive angle though, works his way through, trying to take that stance, but he just brushes past. They're not going to go deep into CT. They're not actually clearing it. So these CTs will get through and save.
Yeah, and that's the mindset behind them not clearing CT is, oh, no way they'd save right outside of the B bomb site, right? That wouldn't make any sense. So maybe G2 playing the mind games themselves and actually double bluffing. So we can see them actually holding onto the guns on Kinguin, and G2 just keeping all their weapons alive as well as they clear out the squeaky door. I think they finally realised it is actually CT, but yeah, they'll get away with the rifles, they get away with the couple of saved armors as well, and the pistol players, and they'll actually be able to just reposition them going into this eco as well. Will just be an almost full eco. I doubt any reinvestment, to be honest, from Kinguin. And G2, once again, a fairly clean round, should be able to follow up with a second here. And or a third, sorry, here, and then we'll see Kinguin on the buy. Sparrow should be on that AWP as well, and Mihu throwing over the rifle to Rallen. Interesting.
Yeah, as he will give it to him. It's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table here.
No, he's throwing back. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, the elevated boost actually coming out as well. They're going to try and gain that map control into the early round here. G2, they've done a great job so far of gaining map control over towards mid. Kinguin, though, they've not really had much money to try and slow them down. Miku, once again, the only man with the weapon. If they try and take this fight towards short, he does have potential to try and ward them off. But will he be able to get those shots?
Peek into middle. No one's there. Kenny just holding back towards the white box. It'll be Furlan to get aggressive over towards main. In the meantime, as we can see, Apex is just holding the outside of it from the boost. This is a good angle to hold. It's unlikely Furlan will be focusing towards the boost as well, as he should be expecting a peek coming out from the garage or something of the sort. But instead, just playing a close position. That's a far safer option here. As we can see, because of his aggressive angle, that's going to allow Kinguin to rotate their players back in towards B, expecting maybe a B play because there's no one in their main. They've got no control, and G2 want to take control before they commit to a site. But Apex, here's a free pick held his way. Furlan going to get a bit too big for his boots. The kill going the way of G2, and now that may force a bit of a rotation. As you can see, Shox is just going to run out onto the site. Deep he goes, and looking for the frag over towards Car. Lots of damage onto him, but he gets one before he falls. Mihu drops the rifle, and Miles will pick it up, but he's still got a flanking player behind to worry about.
Kenny S taking down Miles now on the aggressive stance as well, running up close and personal, trying to use that CZ, but unfortunately Body slipped his way in. Easy kills come out. Apex for the final execution upon Sparrow, but now Kinguin do have money in the bank. This is where the buy will actually be coming out. Sparrow on the AWP as well. So vital that he was able to don that weapon. He is a powerhouse with it.
Polish powerhouse indeed. No armor will be a bit of a limiting factor, but at the end of the day, he should still be able to hit his shots as G2 post up into a very, very nice buy here. No funny business, no UMPs in play. And Kenny S back on the AWP. We have seen him have very inconsistent results as of late with that gun, which has been quite an upset as well, considering he was and is one of the best AWPers in the world. I think we can still agree, despite his recent performance. So, looking at him on the AWP, it's actually quite scary to say that he may not be at the same form that he usually is. I hope to see him continue, and maybe this matchup will be a bit of a revitalizing factor to him as G2, they set up towards his A side, looking for the fast play out of main. Boost up from Mihu, nice quick kill, no trade as well as he drops back on, and they'll counter boost as well on this D side, trying to get up on top of that red box as they make their way up. Body looks for the kill, Furlan's on the other side of the smoke, and they're just waiting for the flashbangs to rain on in, but Sparrow, another quick kill. Body pushes in through into the grasp of Furlan, and one by one, G2 are going to be eliminated.
He picked off so easily now. Kinguin, as soon as you give them rifles to play with, they're going to dispatch her. And it falls just on Apex. AK-47 in hand, ready to try and do some work, but Mouse will be going on the aggressive angle. Furlan as well, just trying to clear. Coming up from the back line, though, of course. Mouse finds the frag upon him. Will execute now. And Kinguin get that second round on the board. Obviously, though, G2 have money to play with, so they can rebuy into this straight away, bounce back, and hope they can lock things down. Kenny back once again on the AWP. We didn't achieve too much into the previous round. Will this be a different story, though?
Plenty to work with. Reset potential is going to be important, but Kinguin looked like after a bit of a fiery previous round, they want to continue that storm as G2 set up outside of middle here for the boost very early on. A couple of players actually, no, backing off. I think a Molotov was just thrown over there. Yeah, Rallen's going to be going for that just to deny any kind of presence up and towards middle. Body's crossed on the right side as well, so this looks like a very fast mid play, at least if Kenny can get this pick. He's actually going to be boosted up with a teammate as well, so looking for a lot of mid control, I can assume, here from the side of G2. But Kinguin really giving up everything here. Instead of playing mid, they've got Rallen actually backed off towards the highway, just holding for spots, and that means that they actually have a triple A play, meaning it's very difficult to take this control. And I like the setup because now they force Miles up in towards B as well, so they've got aggressive control. They're kind of, in this sense, forcing G2 to hit towards the A site in through the split, and that being said, that could be a dangerous feat considering there are 3 players in position here.
It's true. There is an awful lot on the line. Flashbang goes over for Kenny S, though, so he can pick his way up towards the A bomb site. Doesn't really spot anyone. That smoke will allow him to be aware of someone's position, but Body getting taken down. MBK falls as well. Shox actually finally starts to claw the round back as he executes Mouse, but Sparrow with an instant retake frag. Shox on the return will be able to take him down, though. Furlan up close and personal, just spamming away. Gets Kenny S left on 12 HP. Shox low as well. This isn't a great situation to be in as they're left in the 2 versus 3. They're outnumbered. They make their approach towards the bomb site, though. Shoxy trying to land the headshot upon Miku, but he's struggling so hard there. Miku will take him down, and it's just Kenny to try and do anything.
Can he be the god himself? Moves in through the CT spawn here, just trying to get himself a spot. There's one player above. He does know it, but Mihu's going to be quicker on the trigger. Nice kill. And Team Kinguin, they are going to pick up their 3rd round here. No reset coming in for G2. And now, in fact, the money on their side looking quite damaged, but they have a couple of players to bail them out. Body and Apex with 6 to 8k respectively. And so they will be able to drop over some rifles to at least facilitate a buy into this one, but it will be their last. After this round, they're going to have an issue with economy unless they can get a bomb plant to at least combine with that loss bonus. It will be built up to 2,900 now. Obviously, oh sorry, 2,400 actually. As we can see, Kinguin are going to be on their own double up. Rallen and Sparrow flash in through main for some aggressive peeking, and in the meantime, G2 aggression on the other side of the map as they work their way fast in towards middle. Mihu's going to hear the drop as well, so they know exactly what's going on. And the fact of the matter is, Kinguin are playing such a passive mid that G2, they look like they're about to walk into the AWP of Rallen.
If they take this fight, Rallen should be able to kick it off so easily. Smoke will go over to block off towards Connector, but Rallen's still holding firm, ready for this push to come in as the T slowly make their approach round. It is going to be Kenny S to take the fight to him, but he only has a rifle. He's not armed with his famous magic stick. The flashbang goes over for Furlan, though, ready to strike. Can't quite connect the shots just yet, but he's warded them back. He actually gets the opening frag, and his teammate's doing damage as well. Miku comes into effect as he takes down MBK, hungry for another kill, which he will find, executing Apex, leaving them in a 2 versus 2. T's trying to back off, though. They will grab the bomb here.
Nice trade from Kelly, but obviously they have to give up the site control to push back into main, allowing Miles to actually rotate back up towards the car safely here. We have the support as well coming in through the highway, or late. Sparrow's posted up with the AWP, trying to catch the cross. He won't be able to, though. As you can see, Kenny's actually just ducking below the angle, not even allowing him to go for that one. Swapping over the AWP as well, but Shock's going to get caught out while trying to pick up the bomb. Sparrow gets a kill, and that's huge. I was expecting them not to do it. They should have been aware of that angle, but Kenny, he now needs to plant. 25 seconds left on the clock. He needs to hurry up, and he will commit to it eventually, but now he can't play it from main because it is going to be a default plant here towards the back. He peeks out, trying to find one quickly. Sparrow's not exposed, though, and he's just waiting for his teammate to get the damage done with the rifle. AWP not going to be as good, and Kenny does get the first kill. Miles goes down. Now only needs one more. Are we going to see some vintage Kenny? That's the question. He jumps. I think he spotted him on the ladder there, going for the fight, and Kenny lands it. Finally, he's back as he picks up a 3k. 1 versus 2 clutch, and G2, they make it rain.
Working their way through fabulously there, picking that up. It's just what they needed. You can see Kinguin pondering what they're actually going to go for here as the buyers do start to rain in. Let's see what will actually be on the table. Obviously, that AWP over on Sparrow once again, but it's still the glass cannon. They didn't have enough cash to actually get that out effectively. Miku actually only with a pistol as well. No weapon dropped his way. He doesn't have a rifle to try and aid him into this round. It will be a little bit unfortunate. Obviously, he's such a star player when he has that rifle in his hands. Sparrow as well going for that early face towards mid, seeing if anyone will try and take the fight, but nothing is occurring just yet. Mao's forced out of position as well. A little bit awkward towards B.
Yeah, and G2 just rattling off their rifles, trying to whittle down these players, or at least force them back into safer positions. I like the boost from Furlan. It could actually, distract G2 and catch them off guard, but the fact of the matter is there are 3 players here. They're going to be perfectly poised for this one as Apex runs on out. The entry frag off of the team finds the entry frag as Furlan's head's going to be removed cleanly. And that gun's actually out of bounds now. Kinguin can't pick that one back up, so me still going to be left on this pistol hit. G2 out in towards middle. Sparrow has got to go big here. He hasn't got any support. Rallen's the closest point of defense here to at least join him, but he's got focus towards the A site as his teammate is dead. He is now alone trying to hold off this angle, and Sparrow doesn't want to peek too aggressively because if he goes down as well, that will only extend the man advantage for the side of G2.
Yeah, ready to try and take this execute towards the A-bomb site. Kenny S there, ready with his brother in arms and Shox. These are the 2 big boys that you want to watch when it comes to bursting their way out and towards that bomb site. They are going to be the explosive men that will open things up and allow G2 to actually kick it off with a bang. Shox comes in with the opening headshot there upon Rallen. Sparrow trying to respond. Ooh. Goes for the pot shot, but no connection will actually come through. There's finally some work being done, but it's Apex and Shox to close things down, leaving just Miles trapped on the B bomb site, quaking in his boots as he will have to go for a save.
needs to hold on to that gun, and I think they're going to let him as well. The economy is shaky up and down, left and right for both teams, so neither one really wants to lose any more than they have to. And keeping 4 players alive at G2 is going to be good in terms of building up this cash flow as well. You can see on the scoreboard there, their money not looking too good at all. Most of them even saving as 2k, so fact of the matter is they need that money to at least allow them to have a bit of a buffer to fall back on eventually when they do lose a round to Kinguin. That being said though, 5-3 guaranteed and 6-3 looking likely, as they will not be forcing around this one rifle. I hope not. Should just be going for a plain old eco on the side of Kinguin, at least allowing G2 to extend their lead a little bit more. So 5-3 going to be coming in, and obviously a dire situation for Kinguin to be in this early on into the match.
Yeah, not the best situation really. They need to try and adapt, and the scary factor is as well, G2 with a double AWP setup. You've got Shock, someone that is just so crazy with the weapon, it comes down to his individual skill as well. And Kenny S, that's looking like he's starting to be more reminiscent of his usual self. This is going to be scary. They have such a crazy range advantage into this round that Kinguin shouldn't have many answers to play with. Mouse is the only one with an actual rifle, the rest of his teammates are basically cannon fodder. An aggressive play coming out towards the B-bomb site. This is going to spell absolute madness coming out from G2. Flashbang goes over, allowing them to peek in towards the bomb site now, and over rotate is there as well. All the CTs situated. Meichu will try and back off. You can see Furlan deciding whether or not he wants to actually reposition, try and help out his teammates. Now Kenny wants to go for the opening frag. Smoke will go down to try and give them a bit more of a blocked angle so they can peek through. They're not going to be open to as many lines of sight. Body with the entry as well, but he can't actually connect it. Mouse does punish him, takes him down, but the trades come back in. Apex doing work, Kenny S as well. Connection upon Mouse, the only player that was armed with a rifle. Sparrow can try and grab it. Apex does damage though, taking him down. Miku all of a sudden has grabbed the rifle, and he's going huge with it. The scavenged AK proving so useful as he comes in with his opening 2 kills, leaving just Shocks to try and close things down. It's a 1 versus 2 situation. The bomb trapped over by Headshot. Still 55 seconds left on the clock. He has time. He has utility, but he is vastly unfavored in this situation. He doesn't have much of a stake left in the round. It is going to be awkward as Miku just waits for the right moment to strike. If the peak comes in, he should be able to find the kill. Shocks, knowing that he has to wait for them to make the first mistake, but Miku peeks out, claims his head, lobotomizes him, and that is a fabulous round going through. They also saved the AWP as well for Sparrow.
That's such a timing round, though. You could see the second he peeks is the second Mihu peeks. So unfortunate. If he waited 1 more second, he may have actually had the drop on Mihu there. Regardless, great round from Kinguin. I like the B stack, very good initiative, and they make it work as well, securing plenty of guns to bring into this one. As G2 now, they're crippled. We talked about the money still not being built up for the French side, so they're actually left on just a pistol on MBK. The rest of them going to be on rifles, but only bordering the edge of an eco here. Kinguin only need 1 round of their own. But again, back and forth, reset potential here for G2. So Mouse, he's boosted up into vents early on. We have that control. He can also support towards B if he wants to back on down if G2 do put some aggression towards there. But it's mainly a default here for the French side so far. Holding back, they've got that boost as well in play for Apex in case he wants to find a pick. And Sparrow about to peek out into mid, about to be, well, walking into the arms of Apex. And it seems like he's already done some damage. Will be traded, though, back into a 4-on-4.
Leaving him in this awkward situation. Kenny S as well, trying to find another frag, will do damage, takes down Miku, allowing them to make their assault towards that A-bomb site. Nearly a follow-up frag from Kenny S, but Rowland proving too hot to handle right now as he finds the opening kill, leaving them in a 3 versus 3, a much more manageable scenario now. MBK as well, with just that deagle. He has proven that he can definitely be so dirty when he has it in his back pocket. But still, there's not a rifle. Body also doing work towards mid though, finds the frag on Rowland. Once again, putting the situation notched in the favour of G2. Shoxy now. The aggression taken towards the A-bomb site. Furlan is close by. He does have the drop on Shoxy right now. Shoxy going to peek, but the headshot comes through so fast.
That's so important. G2 back into this map again as Sparrow left alone back towards the end of the B site. G2 should be getting this bomb down as well, and they know it's Sparrow. They know he has the AWP, and they know he won't be at least committing to this retake. Maybe exits are a possibility, but nothing more than that. And he's sat over towards the CT spawn, waiting for them to try and exit over towards the car area, and Body looks like he wants to do so. Starting to push on up, but at least holding back, finding a jump spot. Seen by Sparrow, but he's not going to be able to commit to it. Has to back off now. They know where he is, and actually, frankly, Shox is going to be chasing him down, pushing back into the T-spawn here. He's coming back in through B main, so Sparrow has no idea. They could be coming from 3 different positions here, potentially 4 actually if they come in through the vents, so he's got a lot to worry about right now. He can't even scope in 1 position, so he's just going to be back and forth between angles, and Shox eventually going to peek in the open. Sparrow's peeking wide in the meantime as well, so G2 going to be up to 6 rounds. And yeah, very effective stuff considering when they were a team we kind of thought, I don't think they're going to be able to pick up this match.
It's true. They're looking good so far as they work their way through. The double AWP is back in play as well. And this aids them a lot. especially when Kinguin don't have any range to play with. They're back on the measly pistols. It's not really going to help them out too much at all. They will mostly likely just go for a shock and awe style play. You can see the aggression going through. This could just be the pushing towards main, or potentially just go for the stack. Yeah, playing up close personal display is crossfire, so if the push comes in, they will try and have the drop on the opposition. Kenny not going to try and go for that though. Shocks as well, just holding back with his AWP, playing more contact. If the peak goes through, he will find those frags very easily.
The burst play on B is going to be from G2, so that's a perfect push in. A bit risky considering Kinguin could have stacked this one again, but I think they're going to play it a bit more slow this time, aware of the possibility, as said, stack as Kenny works his way in. Molotovs will be flying over the site to deny anything, and Shocks not able to get the reaction shot through the flashbang as they start to push into main. He knows it's a full push. He needs to back off now, and he needs to get the support of his team as he moves back in towards the spawn. Bit of an open angle, though. They'll be able to battle him down. Eventually, Body will trade one, but a 1-for-1 is going to favour the CT side, considering the weaponry that they have. They should even be able to get this AWP. Kenny's holding the angle, and he says no. Quick tag. Finally, MBK going to turn it into a kill. And G2, they're going to lose a rifle. Kinguin are going to lose the rifle, the AWP that they picked up.
Losing that AWP is definitely going to affect them into the later round. Rallen can actually grab it though, and the thing is, this is a push from two angles. Sparrow could go huge, but Kenny with a flick. Crazy stuff as he takes him down. Hungry for more, but Rallen showing him how to wield the weapon as he takes down Kenny S, leaving them in a 2 versus 2 scenario. Time is taken away though. They have no kit as well. They're going to grab that secondary AWP and just back off and save.
Yeah, a double AWP save on an almost full eco. I'd be pretty happy with that if I were Kinguin right now. That's a really good amount of money saved in the back pocket. 10k in just weaponry when they only invested in a couple of grand, if that, to be honest, in the CT side. So, yep, G2 have got themselves 7, a dominant T side so far, and it's showing no signs of stopping. But Kinguin can't be too worried about this one. At least going into the next round, they're going to have the buy coming into play, and frankly, yeah, they've got good potential, especially considering G2's economy is still not going to be building. While they are winning rounds, yes, they're only saving 1 to 2 players, and most of the time. So look at their cash. Well, they have enough to buy up every single round. They won't have any to buy up if they lose 2 or 3 in a row.
That's true. This is still going to be very awkward.
Wait, what?
Kenny and Shock's actually going for the Mat 10s. So they've read the buy wrong here. This is going to be so awkward for them. They're going to take those fights, expecting to just use this as a bonus round, rack up an awful lot of cash into this, and they're going to get decimated. They're going to get absolutely torn to shreds. Those weapons aren't going to have too much effect at all up against this buy of Kinguin. This is going to be really awkward to see how this does actually unfold. They take that aggression through mid. The angle's being utilised though. They take them down so easily. 3 kills immediately going into the favour of Team Kinguin. Sparrow's trying to connect another frag on NES, but he actually overpowers him with the Mac 10 and can upgrade to the AWP.
That's a huge upgrade as well. The man himself on the AWP trying to spam on towards the CT spawn. Not going to be able to connect. Molly goes out and vents to deny any kind of retake here for the Kinguin side. And Apex getting that bomb down now. Kenny is forced into an angle covered in enemies. They could be pushing from anywhere right now as he moves back in towards B main. Only one player coming from some position. That's Rallen with his own AWP. But Kenny might have the drop. No, he won't. Rallen finds the kill. All onto Apex, and he's just going to get overrun. G2. I don't know how you read the economy wrong in that sense. You know the enemies have saved 2 rifles, even if you didn't know they were AWPs. That's dangerous. Look, this is they've lost 2 rounds in a row. One of them were eco. Yeah, they should have known that. That's really weird to see from G2 buying up the double Mac 10. I can't be convinced that that is a strategy.
Yeah, very interesting that's actually occurred, as it did hinder them into that round as well. Now, Kinguin, still with the double AWP set up in play, they're looking very effective. They can work their way back through. Kenny does have an AWP in his hands, though, this time rather than a Mac 10.
Far better. Albeit being on no armor, but still, he can get the job done like that. Team Kinguin looking good with this double AWP so far. I like to see it being brought up. One of the teams that do use it quite often, much as G2 do as well, at least handing it over to Shocks as a secondary, as we have seen a couple of times this match already. But Kenny's going to be looking for this opener. That smoke seems lined up. I think he's got something under his sleeve here. Going to be going for the boost back towards the lockers. He might be able to catch something out towards the back as well as he posts himself up. Oh, gets tagged in through the smoke. I think they know exactly what smoke he's using here. I think they're going to be aware, but he peeks out. Nothing will be given to him. In the meantime, the rest of G2 just putting a bit of pressure down towards B, maybe trying to force rotations. Nice nade usage. Kenny eventually going to catch out Rallen with his own AWP over towards the A site. And look at that. Mal's peeking out with a flashbang. Great stuff. 2 kills for him. Kinguin have pulled this one back after losing the first man advantage. And Furlan, he may even have a free one as well. Body going to walk out completely unsuspecting. And now 2 players remain for G2.
This is a good situation to be in now as they slowly work their way through the round, leaving G2 with just 2 men left standing. It's going to be so awkward for them to claw their way back. Kenny's so low as well, making his approach over towards Squeaky Dildo. Has the backup of Shocks as well. Miku is there with the angle covered, ready to unleash a very powerful round into both of them if they wants to try and take this fight. His teammates obviously stat towards that B bomb site, but they can retake this. It's not going to be that hard, as they will still have the manpower, even if Miku goes down without doing some damage, but he still does work. Takes down Shox. Kenny S is going to fall as well off the back of Furlan. And now they are actually going to opt to go for that pause. They'll slow things down, go for a bit of a tactical, and try and work out what has gone wrong and how they can fix it.
I agree. I think it's a good time. We have seen a lot of teams unable, or not unable, but physically not wanting to go for that pause in situations where they really should have, even when they're getting stomped. But this one's still being close, and G2 in fact even leading and going for the pause. I like that. They at least understand they need to take the time to work out what they want to do. They obviously have Smith as a coach. Maybe he's noticing something they're not, can bring in some tactical insight for them, you know, tell them how to throw better flashes, who knows. So G2 in this position, now got to be a bit screwed on money. They are going to obviously be back on potentially Tech9, some Quasi. It seems like even more so a Force they've invested into this round, and obviously still continuing the double up. Kinguin looking very, very good to close this one out and actually bring it back into an 8-7 half.
Strange. So let's see if that is going to come into effect there, how they will actually work their way through as we jump back into the action now. Into this one. Still, G2, obviously that pause going into basically the final round of the half, as that's where they're going to have money to play with. This time around, just going to go for what appears to be a bit of a aggressive burst towards the A bomb site. The smoke setup actually will come through, though, utilising this to divide the site into two, but Kinguin already taking control.
This is a classic Envy strat, right? Just throw the smokes out and burst out with Tech9s. It worked very well. Obviously a bit of a different roster since, but still some of the French players do remain. And in the meantime, Furlan's actually pushed up into main himself, which is going to be a bit of an aggressive play. This will completely deny this push onto the A site. He knows it's coming as well. He's going to be aware, spraying away, but he's too blind. Body takes him down. Another smoke wall going to allow them to cross onto the site, but not too far, as Mihu denies the first. Body dropped here for the T side, and G2 just getting up close, aggressive on the site. MBK going to try and get this bomb down, and they need to soon at least, because the smokes have run out. They've got no utility left after that. Molotov is dispensed over towards the highway, and Rallen, they know Kenny S is there. Molly forces him out. He goes to the shot. Bomb eventually going to be planted here for the T side, and a 4-on-3 retake going to favour Kinguin quite heavily.
It's very true indeed as they make their approach through. Let's see if they can actually pull it off, though. Making their way around. Shox in the backline. Apex up close and personal, though, rattling away with that Kalashnikov. Gets the opener upon Miku. Mouse fires backs on MBK, but they still need to do a Shox as he's being such a nuisance. Apex has done a whole lot of work as well. He's come through with a quad kill.
What? How does that happen? Great stuff. Kinguin and their money screwed from that as a result. Look at it. They can't pull up the double AWP, maybe not even a single AWP as well. Furlan can get it, but he's not the AWPer, and he'd have to glass cannon or glass cannon M4, which is not a strategy. So Rallen and Sparrow both going to be left down to rifles for the last round of the half. I was thinking Kinguin should have an 8-7 ahead of them, but G2 picking up that force by the Tech9s and the AK on Apex does reign supreme, and their own double AWP in play here for the T side. So Kinguin now should be looking fairly worried, considering this should be one of those matches that, I mean, just off of recent results, as weird as it may seem, this should have been a free win.
Miku, just on the elevated angle though, playing from the high ground. He has that vantage point. His teammates are going to throw those nades through as well to try and support him. Kenny S, he's taking things a little bit aggressive though, playing up close and personal with the AWP, ready to try and get that bounding opening frag if he can do so as soon as the smoke dissipates. Miku rattling down though, actually finds the frag upon MBK, gives them the man advantage into the early round. That's pretty good.
Yeah, nice start, and very important round for them to do it as well. They need to pick up the 7th. Mihu going to follow up with the 2nd. It's going to be Shox to fall now. As you can see, G2 going to start to converge, but Mihu is not done yet. 3 for him. Body finally going to trade onto Furlan, but Mihu's still alive and kicking, and he is dangerous indeed as he rounds round the site. A 4th for him. Going in for the aces. Kenny S rounds the corner, but he will eventually fall, but still his job is done as Rallen falls in from above. 2 HP left on Kenny, but he's still alive and kicking, getting damage done, but it's Sparrow to close it out. It will be Kinguin to at least pull back a bit of a round as it goes to 8-7, but will they be able to close it, at least in terms of the map? Find out after the break.
everyone. Obviously, a very exciting first half has just gone underway, but we still have more to come. The second half will be coming up shortly, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one actually pans out now. G2, the team that we didn't really think would be able to come in so strongly, they've had a good showing. They've actually won some rounds that have been very awkward, but there's still been some very questionable stuff coming out.
Yeah, I mean, questionable stuff from Kinguin as well. They've been seeming very sloppy so far in their first half. Hopefully that'll kind of change as they move to T-side, as they do have a lot of great aimers like Mihu, like Furlan, for example, who can kind of open up sites. And I feel like that may be the change, at least, that Kinguin need going onto this T-side. I'm not too worried just yet with the scoreline being fairly equal, and especially considering this is G2, they're very hard to kind of justify going, oh yeah, they're going to win, even with a round advantage. So going into the second half, good potential for Kinguin to come right back into it and, you know, take it away themselves. But yeah, I definitely agree. G2 looking better than, well, you know, previous matches will dictate.
Yeah, it's true. They've actually had a fairly good showing so far into this matchup, and we've got to wonder if that is going to continue and their form will only improve, as they have looked kind of dominant in a couple of the rounds, but then again also they have been doing some weird things. Like we saw the Matchday come out with the incorrect read of the cache. Just small things like that have affected the scoreline as well.
Yeah, I still don't understand that as well, because you look at the scoreboard and you could see that Kinguin had lost 2 rounds and ecoed one of them. It was very obvious that they ecoed it because G2 walked into the opposite site, cleared it out, they realised they had an eco stack, and then they killed some of the ecoing players. So, fact of the matter is, how are G2 making that mistake and going, oh, they're going to double eco when they've already lost a round prior to get that loss bonus? It doesn't make math, it doesn't make sense, you know. But either way, a small error. Again, I don't think they'd ever repeat that. I feel like they'd learn after that, you'd like to think, or you'd like to think after a full career of playing CS full time, they might already know. But what can you do? Everyone makes mistakes. So going into the second half, it's going to be very, very based on getting this pistol round right, with the scorelines being so equal. Yeah,
it's actually going to be quite important, as it is a close game so far. Obviously, 7-8 scorelines, we work our way through. That first pistol round is going to dictate essentially who gets those first 3 rounds.
Yeah, and I'm still interested to see how Cobble goes. I mean, this isn't even closed out, but I'm quite interested to see if Kinguin can actually bring this one back. And going on to Cobble, I think that's even more of a wild card, you know, map, because that's a map that neither of these two teams play too effectively. G2, I guess, in terms of results, better on it, but not a lot to work off in terms of this roster being fairly new. So Cash is kind of more of a, oh yeah, the French teams have always been good at Cash, you could assume that they would do okay on this one, but to be honest, G2, I think they've only won 2 out of the last 7 maps of Cash that they've played with this roster, so it's very, very hard on either aspect to even pick up who's going to win.
True, but something that is certain is that the jerseys over on the ESL store are absolutely wonderful. So why don't you guys get over there, pick yourself up a jersey, transport your favourite team, and get that on you. It makes you feel good.
It does.
But we will be going into the matchup very shortly, guys. Things are almost underway for what should be a very explosive second half. There's a lot going down into this.
Yeah, definitely. And into the pistol we go. Let's have a look at the buys here. G2 going to be committing to the full armor. As Kenny, yep, have to buy up. We see on the side of Kinguin, however, just one nade buy, and that'll be Furlan here. Sparrow going to be on the Deagle as well, so interesting to see if he's going for that fast pick as he sets himself up towards A with the rest of them. Actually boosting up and towards middle, sorry, but not going for any kind of early aggression. Shox is holding down, and that's a dangerous person to face. If you're going to face anyone, you don't want to face Shox, as he holds off onto middle, waiting for this peak, although he's holding the wrong angle, doesn't know that the potential boost has come down. So Sparrow actually going to have a good position for this, but they're finally making their way on top of the top as Shox spots them and backs off to the side. There's 3 players in position for G2, and if Kinguin want to split up towards A, which is what it's looking like, it could be dangerous.
Could be very awkward indeed. Shox taking the aggression towards mid into the early round, though, hoping he can do some damage, sniping with a pistol as he gets the opening headshot upon Sparrow, hungry for more as well as he jiggles his way out, but can't quite take down Furlan just yet. Ready to try and take his second strike, though. Still not going to go his favour, as he will start to back off now. Miku and Co making their push towards the B-bomb set, though. Kenny S playing up close and personal from Snacks. They do clear the angle in the end, though, and they start to tag him. Kenny S does do damage, though, and Shox as well. Working out famously as Shox comes into effect. He rotates over, tears his way 2 more members of the side of Kinguin. Dispatches another one as well. That's 4 crispy headshots going the way of Shox there.
That's it. That's the Shox factor that I said. And now 9-7, G2 leading into the second half as they were finishing up into the first. Very rifle-based buy. A couple of UMPs I can imagine being brought out as MBK invests in one of them, and Body will probably be following suite. And Kinguin, the Eagles across the board, as you would expect. We're going to see Mihu saving a little bit. Interested behind that decision as well. Sparrow is typically the person you kind of expect to save, as he would be really going for that AWP, but Mihu at least going to hold on to a bit of cash here just so he has it in his back pocket if he ever needs it. But G2 posted up. Shox is going to be looking for one onto middle. Sparrow, though, I'm glad he invested there. He doesn't need to save for the AWP because he's going to have himself a free rifle in the ground as he takes down the head of Shox, and Kinguin leading this round.
Yeah, kicking it off with an absolute bang. They get this good opener. The Deagles coming through are looking quite effective so far. MBK, though, will spot out one of the players. He nearly gets tagged, but always actually able to bound his way out of there. Mid-control is slowly being encroached upon, though. Kinguin trying to gain it. Aggression over towards the A-bomb site as well, but the frag goes the way of Apex. He will take down Rallen. Hungry for more right now as they play around mid. Kenny S will take down Sparrow as well. Things are crumbling very quickly for Kinguin.
Yeah, indeed. Nothing yet for the T side other than that original pick at the start of the round, and me who just being given that Deagle was just going to get isolated there through the door. Body wallbanging him all onto Furlan now, and he's just going to be, well, easily cleaned up by Apex. 10 rounds to 7. Nothing really, unexpected there from Kinguin. A force buy you sometimes see effect, but with Deagles it's very, very difficult and inconsistent to actually land yourself some headshots while we saw the opener go their way. Other than that, not too worried. So now going to be the almost Felico. Me who can reinvest slightly as he did save a bit of cash in the previous one, but obviously G2 are going to have a bit of a clean-up round. Shocks even investing in that SMG just to wipe down these players and obviously get that $600 kill bonus, but Kinguin very fast burst out on towards B.
Taking that aggression over towards B. MBK, though, going to try and cause a stir. Peeks out, will do 1 frag. 2 frags as well. Kenny S, another kill coming through as they start to retake this bomb site. Easy kills from Shocks as well from the backline. Spams down with the MP7 of all weapons. That's an abundance of cash being wiped into his bank account.
1200, that will allow him to get a decent buy into this, but he's actually going to stick with the UMP. A bit of a bonus as he picks that one up off of the ground. Kinguin now going for the rifles, and yeah, Mihu, all he's really done is got himself more nades, a Molotov and an extra flashbang above some of the players as he obviously saved into that second round. Quite interested to see why he did it, but maybe they have an idea based around this Molotov. Who really knows? Let's have a look. As we can see, G2 are going to be on their AWP of Kenny, and obviously majority rifle buy here coming in. As you can see, Kinguin very fast asserting some dominance up towards this A site. They've got some control towards Squeaky, taking main as well, and they're trying to peek onto it, but they don't realise that Kenny S is posted towards the back here. It's a dangerous push for them, but obviously he's blind. He's going to peek out for a little bit more, though. Apex in the meantime spraying down too, and Kenny finally strikes on behind, gets himself a kill onto Sparrow. It's all onto Mihu, and frankly, he is cornered. It's G2 to finally take the lead quite effectively now. Picking up that buy round is going to force Kinguin down into eco for one more, almost guaranteeing a 13th for the French.
5th round on the cards as Kinguin, nothing really to try and aid them into this round. They will invest into somewhat utility. They have a couple of smokes, that will help them out a little bit, but it's still going to be so hard. You can imagine G2 just going to tear it up very easily into this round. They've got so much of an advantage, it's not even fair at this point. Aggression being taken towards the bomb site, but Kenny S is there, locked and loaded. The angle is being held by him. He's ready to smite them if they want to take this fight towards him. The smoke will go around though, so he does just reposition right now. A cheeky little angle. Molotov is forcing him back. He's still hungry for the frag. The first kill will go his way, smiting down Rallen. And the other members on the side of Kinguin can't try and react to this either. They're aware the orb's there. They don't want to just sprint in. So still biding their time before they go for this burst.
Yeah, mollies will be thrown out everywhere, allowing them to get in through the checkers, but just running onto the site. It's Kenny again, a quick shot there onto Mihu, going to looking for a little bit more, but it's MBK's flame to set Mouse on fire. Kenny pistol out, back to the orb, going again, flicking back and forth for these shots, but he's not able to connect. It'll be Apex to clean up. One for him, Kenny falls, but Apex will be able to pick up the pieces and even save the orb for the round. It's G2 now, 13-7, a huge dominant scoreline here for the CT side, something we didn't expect going into this matchup at all, and Kinguin now trying to buy things up for what may be one of their last few buys into this game. G2, if they pick up this, it's 14 rounds, and if Kinguin don't get a plant now, it's going to be, well, a probable eco, or I guess a force buy for the last one to try and at least deny Kinguin, G2 from picking up that 15th.
Yeah, they really need to try and lock this down. Kinguin have to respond right now. They don't have much more breathing enough to play with to allow any more rounds to slip away into the bucket of G2. They have to really come back and bite them and lock it down. Aggression situated towards that A-bomb set. They seem like they want to try and go for a late round explosion through. Body is playing up close and personal as the elevated angle being utilised. Kenny's there as well with that AWP, and Kenny started to look back in his natural habitat with a weapon as well. Flashbang goes over from Kinguin to try and plant a seed of doubt as they do re-situate themselves.
Nades into middle here is the focus. I think they're setting up that vent Molotov to at least get themselves some control over towards that middle area. Boost is going to come out in the meantime as well, so they can actually split towards that side of the map. And Kenny just posted up on the A site with the AWP just to deny anyone to push into main, but he's actually going to reactively push up here. A bit of support from Body, and they're just getting flashed right in, but in the meantime, Kinguin, they're taking control towards middle. Finally, the first kill going to come out at Sparrow being dropped over towards main, trying to get himself a pick onto Kenny as Body continues with this pushing up towards the side of main. They don't realise it though. Instead, they're going to be splitting down in towards B. The bomb making its way through main. 2 players coming in through the checkers area as well. They split in through vents. And Shox is in a great position to get himself 1, maybe even 2 before he falls. But Mal says no. A quick headshot in retaliation. MBK towards the back of the trench. Going to try and look for something, but it's just going to be shut down by Mihu as his head is also found. Apex can't even catch the cross as Kinguin crosses towards the site. And the bomb will be going down in a 4-on-3.
Bombers been planted now by Mouse. Kenny S elevated in angle. Trying to find something, will land the tag, but can't find the frag just yet. The Molotov setting the site ablaze as well, as they don't have really any HEs to play with. Apex has 1 Molotov, so sure, he could burn Mouse out of position, but it's going to be very awkward for them right now as they just hold their angles, hoping that the T's will peek and make them make a mistake, which they do. Miku going for the aggressive face, Apex taking him down. The situation is a lot more manageable now. They use their smoke and then we'll go for this push together, fight their way out and towards the bomb site. Body goes hugely, finds the frag upon Mouse, hungry for more. Body, bodying everyone as he goes through, picks up the hat trick. Great play from the man, tears his way through. Apex with a last second defuse to boot, it seems. Oh, so close, but he couldn't quite grab it.
That was almost thrown away from Kinguin there. That peek from Mihu into CT, dry peek as well, that being, it was very risky and really didn't have any reward behind it. Even if he gets a kill, it's not worth it because G2 are unlikely to be successful in a retake in a 4-on-3. If he gets a 1-for-1, it's basically, you know, over, which is, I guess, one reason to justify it, but he had no teammate to trade after that pick. So G2 really shouldn't have been having that much easier chance into a round, but Kinguin almost throwing it. Either way, it's 13-8. We see the polls back on the scoreboard, back for a retribution. Their first T-side round as well. But can they continue, or will the reset come in?
Kenny S taking the fight here. Furlan did have that cheeky position in play. Might have caught Kenny off guard, but Kenny's still trying to take the fight. You can see him pushing up. Going for this contact play. Will find the frag very easily. Good play coming out from Kenny. That's what you expected. Sticking around though, actually trying to achieve some more. Won't be backing off. Could do an awful lot of damage if he can find this follow-up frag. Has now seen the barrel Sparrow and will take the fight towards him. A shot that he should find will do so. Kenny looking good with this contact style. He goes for the triple kill so far though. He's single-handedly dispatching everyone. Body will do some damage upon Miku as well. Kenny, hungry for the 4K, will peek on the angle, finds the frag. Vintage stuff on display there.
Absolutely perfect. Right when G2 needed to get this reset onto Kinguin. A bit worried that Kinguin could have got back into this matchup. And no worry when Kenny's on the server. It's 14 rounds. G2 looking very different to their previous matches in Pro League. And Kenny as well, 25-11. I will say I've been a bit of a critique of his as of late, not being able to do too much himself. You know, I've been seeing more work from Shox on the AWP than Kenny recently, but this is definitely a switch up, and it's good to see G2 back coming into form. Obviously, Kinguin are, in some sense, an underdog in this matchup, but I still assume them to be able to take away a map from this. But that being said, G2 are looking great as Kinguin, a last-ditch effort to try and get back into this match, setting up towards EA site. Smokes are going to be flying on over. Tech 9 and Armor in the hands of them as Apex pushes into main reactively. Flash comes in. There's a free kill to Sparrow, trying to follow up, and he does do so. Apex spraying away, and Body, he's going to clean up the last 2 as well. It's G2 to be just on the cusp of closing this first map.
Absolutely broken economy for Kinguin. It's flatlined. They have nothing to work with. The Tech 9 buyers will come out, but that's it. They don't really have anything else to play with. And this is where G2 should close the storybook and shut down this first chapter, you would imagine. Investment going into utility as well, though. They do have 5 smokes, so it will aid them a little bit. Only a couple of flashbangs to play with, though, as they set themselves up into what appears to be a bit of a slow default into this round. They need to try and catch Q2 off guard, though. They won't be able to play this out like a rifle round. They just don't have enough in their arsenal to complement them.
Body unable to find anyone just on the top of that smoke. Kinguin playing very passive here on the T side. We are going to be seeing a bit of a boost up in towards middle just to start things off, but still, Body may get caught out. Actually blocks the smoke there. That's quite good. Doesn't really make any effect, but either way, now he knows there's a bit of a push coming out from Kinguin. Potentially a split coming in through the squeaky door. But Shox, I don't think he realizes there's a player just to his left on the boost spot. He doesn't spot him, but either way, he's going to be able to get in a great position. Mihu walks on past, and Shox trigger discipline finally goes to the kill, but he needs to check behind as Sparrow is flying in from above, gets himself the 1D, and he's going to get caught out in the open as retaliation kill comes up from MBK. The rest of Kinguin splitting up towards this A site could be dangerous.
Apex ready for the push to come through as he bounces his way, leaping onto the site, ready for the action to unfold. MBK coming in to try and aid them as well. Body in the backline will peek out, does some damage, finds one. Hungry for the Spraken next, but can't quite do it. MBK, meanwhile, will find the frag upon Rallen, but Mouse comes through with a headshot, leaving just Kenny S left in a 1 versus 1. The peek from Mouse here could be so crazy. If he can find the frag, peeks, catches Kenny off guard, but doesn't quite take him down. Left them now fighting. 25 seconds remain on the clock as the bomb timer starts to tick away. Kenny takes the aggressive stance, takes him down. Mouse will be eliminated. And they picked that one up. G2 winning the first match here. Crazy display on Cash.
Yeah, great performance. I got to give it to them. You know, really coming back off of quite a few losses. Only one win, I think, so far in EPL. So this is going to be at least doubling their score. not very difficult, but yeah, I've got to give it to them. And Kinguin really not showing what I expected as well on their T side. Only picking up one round, and it was instantly reset after Kenny's 4K as his aggressive push through Squeaky. I don't know, Kinguin just seemed like they didn't really have anything up their strap other than just smoke over A and try and push and get the entries. That is one of the things about Kinguin, right? So they came up out of Premier last season. I can imagine a lot of their matches at least were just majoritarily through smashing other smaller teams and smashing teams that didn't have as good aim as them, but now they come up against some serious big dogs of Counter-Strike. They've realised they can't just make it their own aim, they have to have a few strategies behind themselves as well.
That's true. Why don't we have a look at some of those highlights as well that went down in the matchup so we can just see what exactly went on.
But yeah, I still feel like G2 are looking shaky, despite them picking up this map and maybe even picking up the second with the performance of Kinguin being quite dire. Going into later matches in EPL when they face up against better teams, I still feel like this isn't just a complete resurgence of G2. They've got to prove themselves before we can kind of admit that they are a good roster now. Because the same with NiP, despite them picking up the last 6 maps in a row in EPL, not dropping a single one. Very impressive, yes, but I still am not saying NiP are great until LAN, and we need to see as well G2 on LAN before we can fairly say that this roster is finally working.
And that's the thing, seeing them on LAN, especially throughout the getting to the finals of Dallas, at this point still seems unlikely, as they've had a very weak season so far, and we're reaching towards that halfway point. We're kind of getting towards the end if we keep working our way through, and they need to switch things up. They need to have a better game plan, as it just seems kind of weak as we work our way into it.
I definitely agree, but interesting to see them actually take away the first map. Obviously going to Cobble as a second, I'll be well on the edge of my seat to find out who's actually going to take that one, if G2 can at least continue their performance on the first one, or if Kinguin will have a bit of a spicier start. It's
true, they really need to try and switch things up, come back in here hard and fast, obviously on the second map, the final map of the week that will be coming up shortly. And yeah, it is a shame.
Emotional.
It has been a very explosive week so far. We've seen some crazy stuff from a lot of teams. Multiple upsets that have gone through. I think that's been sort of the storyline of the week so far.
Yeah, it's been killing our predictions.
It's true. Your predictions keep changing every time.
Don't talk about that.
But it will be interesting to see what they actually bring to the table, obviously, on that second map. I mean, what are you thinking going into this?
I think you got to, well, I don't like to change my prediction, but you got to go with G2 after that one, right? Kinguin didn't really show anything, and maybe Cobble's something that they at least have a little more practice on, but I've got to go with G2 just off of the performance of the first one.
You just think they're still going to be able to work their way through, close it out fairly effectively, and actually be able to pick up that 2-0 now.
Yeah.
And how's that going to affect things with the standings as well, obviously?
Well, obviously they're going to move from bottom place up to maybe a couple higher, but I don't think it'll make any significant change, because there are obviously they'll beat Kinguin. I guess that's one positive, because Kinguin are only just above them by a few points, but I don't think significantly that's going to affect too much. They need to win quite a few if they want to actually make a bit of a progress up towards the middle of the standings, alongside teams like NiP and FaZe, for example.
That's very true indeed. But we'll see if they are able to actually get themselves out of that bottom spot when we return with the second map after this short break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, PaySafeCard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.